What is up, guys? It is your boy Gazda back at it again in our Archero series with some new content. And if you're new to my channel, this is where we play Archero, which is a mobile game by Happy Studios that's available on Android and iOS. It's a tricky game, skill-based. You can pay to play, but you don't necessarily have to. And in this series is where we go over tips, strategies, the way that I made it as far as I have, my gear, and other little isms like that, like updates to the game. So if that's content that seems exciting to you, I highly recommend that you subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell. It really helps me out, and you'll never miss a video. And on top of that, we're actually going to be doing a little bit later into this video details on the contest. Yes, I'm actually going to be giving something away to you guys, so stay tuned to that. It's going to be towards the end of the video, but this video is the actual walkthrough for Land of Doom. Now, normally whenever I start out, I usually show you all of my skills and where I'm at, but this video was actually kind of created in 3 runs because, well, what ended up happening was I was just playing randomly, just trying to get more feel for the bosses, because I feel like that's the trickiest part of this entire stage is the bosses. It's not the waves. It's the bosses. They're a little hard, let's just say. And I ended up like one-shotting it. I didn't even die, and I got to the last boss. I was like, oh. But I realized that about stage 15, I was like, oh, well, this is going to suck. I think I'll make it to the final boss. I might beat them, but now I don't have content for the prior waves to explain the other bosses. So it's just been a shit show now. So it's 3 recordings into one that I've condensed to make it as streamlined as possible. That covers the waves, and it covers the bosses. So without that horrendous explanation, well, now with it, now you understand where we're at with this video. So it's been playing in the background, as you can see, and it's nothing you're not used to if you made it this far. You've passed Cave of Bones, you've passed the Land of, well, this is Land of Doom. You've passed all of these like Royal Rumble kind of levels. I don't know why I call them Royal Rumble levels, but they're Royal Rumble levels to me because it's just wave after wave of enemies. So they're not hard. It's no new enemies in this. It's basically what you're used to. Now, we're already on to the boss. So I'll explain a little bit more of the wave system. But let me get to this boss. This boss is not hard at all. I don't think so. It's especially since this boss is available to fight in the Halloween event, so you've probably already gotten experience with it. It's a giant death scythe boss. This boss is more of a persistence battle, like almost all the bosses. If you'll notice, this boss has an extremely tiny hitbox. So I'm going to really call attention to that. You're going to just be patient here. Just move a little bit out of the way, almost like a bullfighter, and you'll be fine. And he won't hit you. Take a look right here. As I dodge through this attack, right there. Now take a look at it again. Look how close he came. And there's no problem. Because his hitbox is really small. So as long as you're just moving incrementally, and you wail on him like I'm doing, just a couple strikes, move a little bit out of his spinny whirlwind, and then hit him, and do that. I'll go over and over again as you see I'm doing in this video, and you shouldn't have a problem with this boss. So that's my strategy for him, is just do what I'm doing. You don't have to move that much. If you try and outrun him through the map, he does speed up, he will catch you, and you will get hit. He tries to psych you out with his moves, but again, his hitbox is really tiny, so you can actually avoid him quite easily. So after he's dead, we go ahead and get some skills. It doesn't really matter at this point because since I beat all these bosses with different skills, I'm not even going to highlight them of what I picked or why. And besides, you can watch my previous videos on why I choose the skills I do. I'll link to the walkthrough video right here. So now this is a cut into another attempt of the video. But let's talk more about the waves. These waves are enemies that you're very familiar with. It's enemies all the way from Silent Expanse to Frozen Pinnacle to not Barons of Shadow, Lost Castle, and Crystal Mines. There is the little plant monsters you just seen there. Otherwise, that's it. It's the same enemies. And honestly, this level is much easier, in my opinion, than Frozen Pinnacle, even though it has a lot of Frozen Pinnacle enemies at the end. And let me explain to you why. Because Frozen Pinnacle's rooms were a lot smaller, and there was a lot more obstacles in the way, versus these Royal Rumble style levels where it's just wave after wave. is a huge room because they try and put more enemies on the screen, which gives you more dodge potential. And what was really tricky about the Frozen Pinnacle enemies was that you had to dodge. It was a bullet hell, and the maps of each room were really small, so you had to be really on your game. Here you have a lot more freedom to walk around and to avoid the projectiles. So even the bomb launching monsters uh, that throw out the bomb that splits into 4 projectiles, a lot easier to avoid. So now we're on to another one of the bosses. So again, it's randomized. Sometimes you'll get this boss second, sometimes you'll get this boss third, but it's the Frozen Pinnacles Egg Wyvern boss. Now, from the outset, it's going to look like, holy hell, this is going to be extremely difficult because you got all of the projectiles that they shoot and then it splits. And yes, if you stay in one spot or stay in the corner, you're going to get massacred because there's just too much for you to avoid. But I found the key strategy to beating this boss and makes it extremely easy is look what I'm doing, literally, is go from one side of the room to the other. That's it. Because what you'll notice, and you can see, as you walk through these 3 projectiles, they don't hit you. They don't hurt you at all. It almost psychs you out. Those don't hurt you. You can walk right past them. It's almost like in the game they're flying above your head. But when they split, those splits can actually hurt you and hit you. So if you go back and forth, you can kind of like give a ploy for them to shoot out their projectiles at the other side of the room, and then you walk through, and then by the time you're far enough, they've already split across, and you'll have no problem. So you do that, hammer on one of them, because then it becomes extremely easy once one is dead, as you can see. Then it's like you have this large room, and the projectiles aren't even going to hit you. So that's the strategy for this boss. Just walk back and forth through the room, and you'll have absolutely no problems. Again, once I found out the trick to these bosses, this level was not that hard. And unsurprisingly, the final boss, which we'll get to in a little bit, is quite disappointing. I didn't even die on him, and so I was able to beat it, and that's why I was so shocked when I actually beat it. I thought it was going to be much tougher. So now you get to essentially the last set of waves. I mean, I have more, but I mean, at this point, there is no more new enemies. I'm quoting here. I'm air quoting. It this is the rest of the enemies that you're gonna see for the rest of the stage. Is you got now the rock golems that spin, super easy. That's like old school, and you got the scythes. Return to them, and it's what you're used to. And then you got a return of the archer machines that shoot 3 arrows, but it's nothing that's too hard. Again, because the rooms are bigger, and there's actually obstacles you can hide behind in them to do just fine. So as I said earlier in Frozen Pinnacle, these enemies are bastards, but in this level they're not so bad because you have such long, elongated rooms. You have no problem getting away from their sneaky bomb attack. And let me see. So again, Angel health is fine. So I took the health. I believe I took the little boost instead of actually opting for a heal. I think I took a heal on the next boss. But before I cut the video into the next scene, I want to just highlight something that happened here that almost killed me on this run, which was really annoying, which is you can see it right there. It actually happened twice, is that the archer machine spawned in the block. Now it's going to happen again when I finish this wave, and it made it extremely difficult to kill, as you can see right there at the bottom, to kill it because my arrows wouldn't hit it. Thankfully, my pet, the laser bat, does significant damage, and the laser bat's attacks can go through walls. So that's ultimately what helped me kill this archer machine, but it kind of just lagged there as I went through multiple waves, and I had to avoid its attacks, and there was no way for me to kill it. So I thought that was really aggravating that that little bug occurred, but it is what it is. Again, just take a look. This with such long rooms, it's not that hard to avoid projectiles. If you avoided all the projectiles and made it this far past Frozen Pinnacle, you should have no problems here because the rooms are bigger and you're already a pro from surviving that bullet hell. So that's really all I kind of got on these waves. It's nothing spectacularly different. It's all what you're used to. So now we're going to be coming up on the boss, which is 2 living bomb bosses, as you can see. And I almost employ the same strategy I used for the Wyvern, except you're going to have to be like Russell Wilson or Marshawn Lynch or, let me see, David Duchovny That's not a football player. That's not an American football player. But you're going to be doing a lot of juking in this one because they kind of get in your way and they actually do damage to you if you walk in them. So they'll try and block your path, but you want to go from one side of the room to the other, ploy them to throw their bombs so that you can get out of the way from the split attack that it does. Thankfully, I don't lay bombs like the previous ones, but do that and try and focus on one. Kind of like just creep around, ploy them to throw their bombs in a certain way, and move to the other side of the room, and then sit, stand still, wail on them, and you shouldn't have too big of a problem. At least in my opinion. This was one of the more successful runs because in the previous ones that I cut, I ended up not doing too well and I ended up dying on them. But this one I didn't die on. This is the actual final successful run that got me to the final boss. So, just to reiterate, there's no new creatures here. So, I want to skip here to the end, which is, I thought it was funny. At this point, the game kept throwing diagonal arrows at me a second time, and the third time I was like, fine, I'll just take diagonal arrows. Here I made a decision, should I get the heal or should I get the HP boost? I realized I should take the HP boost because I haven't died yet, so if I revive, I'll revive at more health. So the final boss is it's just another giant dragon, and he almost killed me. I'm not going to say he didn't, but I had rage, and I had a lot of arrows shooting out, and his attacks were too slow. So what ended up happening is just get really close to this boss. You'll maybe take a few attacks. Hopefully you haven't died. And even if I would have died, I could have revived and would have killed him no problem. So he's not a hard boss. He's very disappointing considering how hard the earlier bosses are. So that's my walkthrough for Land of Doom. It actually didn't take me nearly as long as Frozen Pinnacle. About 2 weeks and about 7 attempts got me to it. So now I'm super excited to be talking about the capital, which is the second to last. So this is the real end game, folks. This is where it's really going to go all out. And we'll be getting to that. But I mentioned at the beginning of the video that we're going to be doing a contest. And so I'm a man of my word. And so we are going to be doing a contest. So let me give you the breakdown on that. It's simple, but I am full of integrity, and I'm doing this right, and I'm actually trying to follow applicable laws. I did look into it, like I said. That's why I didn't launch it on the last video. So, couple disclaimers. There's no purchase necessary. This is a contest that's opened up to U.S. residents only, because there's no such thing as international contests, really. So it's up to U.S. rules and regulations, and I've included the whole disclaimer in the description of this video. Feel free to read it. You must be over 13 years of age to participate. And what is the prize? It's going to be a $100 gift card. So I figured 100 subscribers, $100 gift card. And for one winner. So what do you need to do to be eligible? Well, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, leave a like on this video, and leave a comment. That's it. That way I can absolutely filter out and find a select winner. It's going to be like a randomized drawing. That's the amount of rules. Again, all the legalese is going to be in the description if you're really curious. But that's it. I wanted to get back to you guys for really showing up, enjoying my content, and, like finding my dumbass and all the stupid things I have to say about this game interesting. So as a way of giving back for 100 subscribers, I thought $100 would be a good gift. It can be like, well, we'll decide. The winner can decide with me. Amazon gift card, Visa gift card, or whatever kind of gift card. But you got to be U.S. resident, got to be over 13 years of age. You don't have to buy anything. Multiple comments is not necessarily going to make your chances better. But I don't know how like the random machine drawing that I'm going to use calibrates it. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. But in order to be entered, one entry per person kind of thing. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll check on you. So I'll know. So if I select you and I found out you didn't subscribe, you didn't notify, you're forfeit. So that's part of my rules. So you actually have to follow through. So don't just think you can just leave a comment and get into the randomization and then bingo, bango, bongo, you won. No, buddy. You did not win. Because then I'm going to check and you can't. I'm going to just randomly message you. And if I notice you didn't subscribe, you lose. So that's it. That's all my rambling I have for you guys. So when will I announce the winner? I'll announce in the next video, but not the next video coming out. I'm going to give it a week. So when this video comes out, 1 week later, I'll release a video. I'll announce the winner, and then I'll be in contact with that person. So stay tuned for that one. But that's going to be it for me, guys. Remember, liking, subscribing, and hitting the notification bell really helps my channel out too, so you're doing me a favor. And if you want to share the video, sure, why not? Get your friends in on the contest. But that's it. I really hope you enjoyed this content. I will see you for the next one, and thank you guys so very much for 1